The eternal question: will a longer fork make my bike better? We've all thought about it, some of us have tried it, and others have probably Googled it and then been confused by opinions on the internet like this one. Today I'm going to talk about how your bike changes when you increase the fork travel and share my experience from running a 150mm fork on my Norco Optic. So why would you want to try a longer fork on your bike? Well, the idea is that by increasing fork travel and slackening the head angle, that you'll make your bike more capable. In my case, I had some races coming up that I thought would suit the Optic, but I thought some extra travel would make it a better race bike. Let's quickly talk about how to increase your fork travel. By far the most expensive way is to buy a new fork, and you might choose this option if you want to upgrade your fork anyway, or if your current fork can't be extended any longer. Alternatively, if you have a fork like my Fox 36, you can purchase an air rod assembly and either install it yourself or have it done professionally. It's a pretty straightforward job to do at home, and in most cases you don't need any special tools other than the proper oils. When you increase your fork travel, it changes more on your bike than you may think. Most obviously, the head angle slackens by about half a degree for every 10mm that you add. That extra slackness also adds wheelbase, which can make the bike more stable, and these are the traits I was looking for by making this change. The extra length of the fork increases the stack height, which meant that I had to drop around 3mm of stem spacer to maintain my bar height, and the bottom bracket height is also increased. If you strike pedals a lot, this may be a welcome change. Finally, the seat tube will slacken as with the head angle, which also lengthens the top tube, while the reach actually shortens. Before we move on to my findings, I want to shout out to this great geometry calculator at bikegeo.muha.cc. To use it, you enter your bike's geometry numbers, and then you can see the changes that increasing or decreasing your fork travel will have. It also lets you see the difference that an angle set will make, if that's something you're considering. In most cases, the air pressure you run should not change when you change your fork length, but the recommended number of volume spaces does. I've been running my fork with the stock 4 tokens at 140mm, and after trying 3 tokens, I settled on the recommended 2 tokens for 150mm. I decided this based on feel, bar height, and travel usage. With 3 tokens, it felt like the fork was sitting up too high, and it was not using full travel, while the balance of the bike had been upset. With 2 tokens, the balance of the bike felt close to how it did before. Unsurprisingly, the extra travel did make the bike more capable. This was most noticeable in rougher terrain, like when pointing straight down a rock garden. I also noticed an improvement in stability at higher speeds, and I was happy with my choice to race this bike at the Rocky Trail Superflow at Mount Stromlo, where the efficiency of the bike helped me get the most out of the terrain while the longer fork soaked up the bigger hits. On my local trails, the bike has improved in steep terrain, where I feel like it has a bit more margin for error and less risk of going OTB if I do make a mistake. There were some traits that I was less happy about. At first I found the bike had lost a bit of front end traction, which was most noticeable on flatter trails. This was something I adapted to, but the bike was not as natural to ride as in its stock configuration. Next, I found that the changes to the fit were generally worse for me. The shorter reach made me feel a bit less able to move around while standing, and the slacker seat angle had me off the back, which made steep pinch climbs a bit harder. The changes were marginal, but they were noticeable.
Definitely need to get more over the bars. Nope, it's not where I wanted to go.
Finally, I'm just not sure that the 150 fork fits the character of this bike. It feels more burly now, like it's pushing into the all-mountain category, and becoming less fun on mellower trails. That may be what some people are looking for, but I have a bigger enduro bike for riding the bigger terrain. Now, the cons I've mentioned are specific to me and the bike that I have. If your current bike is on the steeper side, then it might be better a bit slacker. And similarly, if you're on a bike that's roomy for you, then a bit less reach might not be a problem. It's all about what trade-offs you prioritise. So to wrap up, fitting a longer fork may make your bike better, or it may make it worse. You might have to try it and decide for yourself. But using a geometry calculator like the one I mentioned earlier can let you know if there's any red flags before you pull the trigger on that longer fork. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video useful.